Welcome to Dark Docent. My name is Jake. Join me as I guide my friend James down the paranormal rabbit hole, attempting to prove the authenticity of a new case each week. Today's case: the Skunk Ape.
How are we doing today, Jake?
Not bad, brother, not bad. How we doing?
I'm good. It was a good day.
Good. And you has a good day when you quit your job.
Yeah. Quit it 71 days in advance.
Yeah, because you're a loyal employee.
I'm still a slave to the system, turns out.
You're just courteous, and we appreciate that about you.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up something cool with you, though.
Something cool.
Yeah.
What could be cooler than unemployment?
Well, not necessarily cool, but something interesting. I was told on my way to recording this episode. So, a few months ago, my uncle Frank passed away, and we've been spending time like divvying up all his stuff, his assets and everything. My uncle's been going through it, and he found a little music box, and it was like a cyclist on a rock, and it looks like it was from like the 80s. And what it was is like a hand crank music box that looks like a cyclist. And my uncle's like, you know what? My dad would like that. So he gave it to my dad because my dad is a cyclist. So my dad thought it was cool, and he put it in his room because we all liked my Uncle Frank. And this morning, they woke up to the music box playing.
I don't like that.
It was playing the song Long and Winding Road by the Beatles. So they woke up to it playing from the very beginning and let it play all the way through, and then it stopped. And my dad just got it. So it was kind of weird, because it's not like it can be a glitch in the computer or anything, because it's literally a hand crank, and it's pre-computer in these little music boxes.
Yeah. I mean, did he wind it up ahead of time and it didn't play? Like maybe he thought it was broken or something?
No, because they actually did it, and it played all the way through, and my dad just put it up. So they don't know how it happened, but it played the whole song, which I think is really weird. But at least my Uncle Frank is letting us know that he's okay.
Yeah.
So I know you don't believe in ghosts, but what do you think of that?
Never a huge fan of a music box playing by itself.
My mom played it for me on my way home, and she recorded it for me so that I could show you.
Oh, thank goodness.
Okay, this is, I've wound it up, but it just started to play this morning, and I hadn't wound it up, so I share. Okay.
Although not super well, I do know your parents a little bit. It seems like something that your dad would do to prank you, and that your mom would fight against pranking you. So I really don't know what to think about it. Who would win if your dad wanted to prank you with something like that? Your mom or your dad?
No. So, my parents from an outside point of view.
Yes. Like I say, not super well.
My dad would never prank my mom because she would get so worried and freaked out by it that he wouldn't stop hearing from it for a week.
No. I know and understand that 100%. I mean, yeah. I'm talking about pranking you, saying that happened. If he presented that idea to your mom to prank you with it and get her on board, who would win that?
To get my mom on board?
Yes.
Pranking me? Okay, so that wouldn't happen. So my dad would come to work and tell me, and that would be the first thing on his mind. Didn't mention it once. And if he doesn't mention something once, it means something kind of weirded him out, or he doesn't want to talk about it. He didn't mention that to me at all. I didn't even know he got the music box. Also, my mom, every time my dad's tried to prank me, my mom has come in and been like, before you do anything, your father's planning this. One time, I got up to go to the bathroom when I was a kid. And when I was walking back to my bed to watch cartoons, because I had TV in my room, my mom stopped me and said, just letting you know, your father is lying in bed. He is hidden under the covers and put his pillow over his head, and he's going to try to grab you. And I went, thank you for the heads up. So I sat on the other side of the bed so he wouldn't grab me. But he was there trying to do that. So it would never work as a tandem. They would be the worst prankster duo.
Especially with your mom leading the charge
Yes.
by messaging you.
Yes, she would tell me. She would message me. She would tell me in person. It when it comes to pranking me, it wouldn't leave. She's like, I'm not letting that happen. She doesn't like it happening, so she would tell me. So yeah. Anyway, can't explain that.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, wanted to bring that to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But James, I'm sorry to say, today is not a ghost case.
Oh, darn.
I know.
I
I'm
might
so
have to
sorry.
give it more than a 1.25.
I think I'll get you right over the fence with this one.
That's almost worse. It's worse when I start believing in some of this.
James?
Yeah.
I got a story for you. And for those who want to follow along, you can go to our social medias on Facebook and Instagram, and we will post all of the case photos for this case.
Please follow us on Spotify. Please. It's so easy and fast to do. Please just click the follow button.
Yes, please. I would really appreciate it.
Even if you don't like it, just like hit follow and rate it 5 stars. Please.
It doesn't hurt you, and it helps us.
Probably won't hurt you. It definitely helps us.
Probably won't hurt you.
We definitely can't make guarantees like that. I'll jump off the roof. I'll fucking do it.
January 9th, 1974. Dade County, Florida. A man named Richard Smith, who's a 35-year-old mechanic, is driving home near Hollywood Boulevard near Dade County. It's just after midnight, and he had a long shift, so he's just driving home. As he's driving home in the rural backwoods of Florida, something runs in front of his car. He slams on his brakes. But there wasn't enough time. He hits this person extremely hard, and they bounce right off his truck. Richard is terrified that he just killed a person. He hops out of his truck, goes to turn around to go to the back of the truck where whatever he hit flew off. He wanted to go see if this man was okay. But when he went behind his truck, it wasn't a man. This thing began to stand up. It was a hairy, bipedal creature, over 7 feet tall, glaring at Richard. It roared and began to hobble towards his truck. Richard sprinted back to the front of his truck and drove off as fast as he could. Now, Richard, as soon as he could, found a phone and called the police. Trooper Emmy Johnson met him at 12:40 a.m. He told them, I hit a 7-foot tall, hairy man with my truck, and I know where it was. Now, it's late at night, and Trooper Johnson was curious if maybe he had a few too many. After looking at him, see if he had drank anything, done any of the tests, he appeared completely sober. A quote was, he was very, very scared and very, very sober. When they took him back to the scene, no animal could be found, but there was something in his fender, a strange patch of wiry hair. And if this was the only sighting that night, James, it might just be a guy who hit an animal. But no. Several other motorists this night claimed to see a, quote, hairy limping giant on the same route of road. People in the neighboring suburbias also saw a strange hairy creature. This actually caused a massive search of police cars, helicopters, swamp buggies, but they couldn't find this elusive beast. The only thing that everyone said, other than the tall, hairy person that was walking through their property, was it was followed with an extremely foul odor. James, today I'm bringing you a Bigfoot case that, from the masses, is widely disregarded. But once you research it, it has some of the most evidence of any subspecies of Bigfoot that I have ever encountered. James, have you heard of the Skunk Ape?
Wasn't Momo a skunk ape?
Momo was a smelly bipedal ape, but his head was big and you couldn't really see his face. Also, he had 3 toes. This one didn't have really a big head. It was more just a Bigfoot type creature.
So skunk apes have smaller heads?
Yeah, they're not like, so with Momo, it's like a big bouncy ball on top of
Whoa,
their heads.
sorry, let's hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have heard of the skunk ape. You've mentioned it before. I thought Momo was one of them. I guess not.
Okay, well, yeah, no, skunk ape is more described as a Bigfoot type creature. Momo was described kind of like a Bigfoot, but with a massive head, and it was described as almost more alien-ish. Skunk ape is seen more as like just an animal. It's described as a hairy bipedal ape ranging from 5 to 8 feet tall, with hair ranging from black to reddish brown. And the thing that's made this creature distinguished from other Bigfoot subspecies, it has 4 toes on its tracks, and also its extremely foul odor. The odor has been described as a combo of skunk, rotten eggs, cabbage, and wet dog, all put together. Also, the skunk ape is also said to have a white patch on its chin or chest area. Most people say, when you look it up, that skunk ape reports only go back to like the 1970s. That's a common thing. You'll search up when was the first skunk ape report. It'll be 60s or 70s. That's not true. Skunk ape reports go back to as early as the first Spanish colonizers in the 1600s, and the Seminole and the Miccosukee people called this creature Esti Kafkaki, or Esti Chipko, which both kind of translate to hairy giant. These stories go back for thousands of years. Thousands. It was described in their legends as a wild man covered in hair with a terrible odor. So this report is consistent, long ways back.
I feel like anyone living out in the bush becoming a wild man would smell bad.
It's true. The thing is that this is mostly seen...
Especially thousands of years ago. I think everyone just smelled bad.
Yeah, so this stood out thousands of years ago. So think about how bad this thing smells.
Oh my god.
Another reason that the skunk ape got popularized more in the 60s and 70s, kind of late 50s, is because that's the same time that the California Bigfoot craze was starting. Back in the mid-1950s, that's when the term Bigfoot was created in California. And when reports of the California Bigfoot were coming out, that's when other Bigfoot reports started coming out more nationally. So lots of these were more enclosed in their area. And then when California's Bigfoot became more national news, then everyone else started saying, we have this here, we have this here, we have this here. And then more Bigfoot subspecies began to appear across North America. Also, it wasn't always called skunk ape. As said, with the Native Americans of the area, it was called Esti Kaukaki or Esti Chipko. But also before this, it had a lot of names. So it didn't have that ring to it that lots of monsters need to really get attention.
Yeah, fair. You kind of have to wonder how many monsters we don't know about just because their name sucked.
There's a lot, actually. That's I have a lot lined up for you where their names just suck, so they're not really talked about. Like the West Virginia Vegetable Man, that's another one. Or there's also the Cowman in California, which is just a Bigfoot.
Do you think we can get a 2-parter episode out of the Vegetable Man?
I can really stretch it if you want. Wait till I tell you about how it sucks people's blood.
Well, I'll have to wait.
You'll have to wait. Today we're talking about skunk ape.
Yes.
So some of the earliest known reports that I could find on the skunk ape go back to Apalachicola, Florida in 1818. The area at this time was called Spanish Florida. It was a time when Spain still had control, but US troops were quickly occupying the area during the First Seminole War. There would be 3 Seminole Wars in the 1800s. So this was a really chaotic time for the area. Lots of different tribes, militias, armies, all in one place. But in 1818, there was a report of a, quote, man-sized monkey or baboon-like creature raiding camps and stealing provisions. There was also a report around the same time of a couple huntsmen being stalked along the river and this creature taking their catch. And the same sort of description happened 5 years later from a midshipman named David Porter, who allegedly was on a boat and saw the creature on the beach, following along as he was sailing. Now, you notice that in these reports they say man-sized monkey, or baboon-like creature. At this time, most people say a gorilla standing up. Gorillas weren't discovered until 1847.
We've mentioned that before.
Yeah, so this time they didn't really have that description yet.
Yeah.
So this is like something completely new to them. So there's a lot of reports. And I'm going to be fast forwarding a few of these at the early parts. Because there's lots of stories and famous retellings of things. But I'm going to try to get us to the modern day where we get a lot more information.
Okay.
Fast forward to September 1900. This creature is still being seen partly. And there's still sightings. but it still doesn't have really a name. Everyone just calls it a wildman or the swamp man or things like that. No one has a name that sticks out yet. But in September of 1900, in Kissimmee, Florida, the Davenport Daily Leader reported a, quote, shaggy creature from a woman named Miss Arthur Shiver. She saw a creature 4 feet tall, figure of a man covered in short, black, shaggy hair. And this is something we see with Skunk Ape too. Several sizes, not just giant ones.
It's almost more believable that way.
That's the thing, is that we have more juvenile sizes and bigger sizes.
Yeah.
And at this time, still today, Florida is still pretty rural. Like, it's a massive place and there's a lot of swamps. But at this time, they're encroaching more and more into swampland territory, and more people are making settlements. Lots of the first gladesmen were in the late 1800s, which were colonizers who settled in certain areas in the swamps. So this is the first time people are really seeing things like this. So this is where we go ahead to another pretty popular encounter in 1929. A man named Richter Clyde Perky. He had built a fishing lodge on a place called Sugarloaf Peak, which is an island off of the mainland of Florida. It seemed like a perfect area. It was going to be a big, fancy resort for everyone to come and vacation. But there was one problem. Mosquitoes. They would flood the air, and no one wanted to come to the island because so many mosquitoes made it intolerable for people to be guests there.
Yeah, fair enough.
So he had an idea.
Blowtorch?
No, but this is also a pretty Floridian idea. If there's a lot of mosquitoes,
Yes.
you need to introduce a predator that can take out those mosquitoes.
Frogs.
Close. Bats. Perky decided to make a giant bat box that would attract all of the bats to his island. We know this today as the Perky Bat Tower. And I do have a picture of it if you want to see it.
I would love to see it. I assume if it's still around, it worked to a degree? At least for the bats, bringing the bats over? Maybe. I mean, they'd have to know it was there somehow.
I'm unsure if it worked.
Oh,
I think it's just kind of kept as like a relic, but it might have worked. I don't really know.
A relic on Sugarloaf Island?
Sugarloaf Peak.
Oh, Sugarloaf Peak, my bad.
Or sorry, Key. Sugarloaf Key.
Sugarloaf Key. That's right.
My bad. So this is known as the Perky Bat Tower or the Sugarloaf Key Bat Tower. Here it is today.
That's cool as hell. Big fan of the Bat Tower.
I think it looks pretty cool.
How much do you think that would cost to rent if it was here?
In our province,
Yeah.
$1,800 a month plus utilities.
Yeah, plus utilities.
I'm actually curious now. Did it work?
It must work. Like, I don't think that's something you just come up with. That has to be like a proven thing that exists already.
So the Perky Bat Tower on Sugarloaf Key did not work.
Turns out no bats knew about it.
The 30-foot structure failed to attract any bats whatsoever. Despite attempts to bait it, the bats were imported immediately and flew away. So no, the Perky Bat Tower did not work, but it's still there.
Well, I stand corrected. Well built, though it's still there. You said that was what,
1929.
29?
They built it in like a few days. It wasn't that long.
And that's almost 100 years old.
Yeah,
Looks
it's still
pretty
there.
good.
It does.
Probably pretty flammable.
Oh, probably.
We should go visit.
Shouldn't say that after you say what you said. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Is Perky wanted to make sure that his bat tower worked. So he hired a man to watch it and to count every bat that would fly into the bat tower.
Pretty sweet gig.
It is.
0. 0.
Fuck.
Almost fell over there.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Perky came to check on the guy after the 4th day. He wanted to get an update on the number of bats that had actually entered the bat box. And when he met the man was terrified. According to this man, as he was watching the bat tower, he saw a man-sized ape walk out of the brush and walk towards the tower. He hid, and he saw the creature grab the tower and begin to shake it back and forth, back and forth. It then turned around and disappeared back into the swamp. This made some news of this ape man on Sugarloaf Key. Now, there is a theory that this was a lie made up by the man so that Perky wouldn't be mad that there was no bats in his bat tower and that the creature shook all the bats out.
Classic diversion.
Yes. But the encounters get a little more close as time goes on. In 1942, a man was driving down an isolated road in Suwannee County. As he was driving, a creature jumped from the bush and grabbed the side of his car. It began attacking his car, beating on the running boards in the door for approximately half a mile before he was able to shake the creature off and it would disappear into the bush. Here's the thing. This man, according to police, did have dents in his car, and there was scratches. Also, he was not the only one to witness a strange ape man on that same stretch of road. But this isn't the only time it was spotted. It was spotted a few times in the 1940s, especially in the small community of Barden, which is in Putnam County. A series of sightings began, involving a creature that will forever be named the Barden Booger.
That's a good one. I like it.
Here's something you don't know.
Yeah.
A common name for these creatures in the South is boogers.
Oh yeah, how about that?
Yeah, no, so if you go down, you'll hear about the Barden Booger, the wood boogers.
I don't think I'm going to call them that.
No one else really does, unless you're in the Bible Belt of America. But it's really common, like kind of like it's loosely attached to boogeyman.
Yeah.
So there's the wood booger. Sometimes they're called ridge runners. We should just spend some time just going through all the nicknames for different kinds of Bigfoot in the South. They have a lot of names for them.
Sounds like a dangerous game, but I'm in for it.
Yeah, there's like Old Whistler. There's Old Orange Eyes. That's another one. There's a whole bunch of them. It's crazy. But something booger is something that was definitely more popular in the 1900s.
Huh. The more you know.
Now, this creature would apparently lurk in the local woods, but it would also approach homes and just look at people through windows. However, in the 1950s, that's when reports started to blow up. And again, that's because of the craze of the California Bigfoot. Bigfoot Field Research Organization logged hundreds of sightings between the years of 1950 and 1970. Now, James, there was a lot of sightings of Skunk Ape. Hundreds of sightings.
Hundreds.
Yes. So I've whittled it down to a few between the 1950s and 1970s. But don't at me, anyone who's listening, if I miss one, because there's a lot. And like how I talked to you about other cases, how many times can I tell you about an ape man walking across the road?
We also don't have X the Everything app, so you can't add us anyways.
Yeah, fair enough. In August of 1955, a woman named Mrs. C.E. Hobbs was apparently camping by the Suwannee River. She was gathering some water near the river when she noticed movement in the palmettos. As she looked up, she saw a creature at the riverbank, reaching down to get some water. She said that it was man-shaped but covered in dark hair, and stood, quote, taller than any man I've ever seen. She described the creature as turning its head toward her, before slipping back into the brush at surprising speed. Now, there was no evidence collected at this site, but the newspaper noted that her reputation was of a, quote, sensible woman, not prone to exaggeration. In October of 1957 in Monroe County, Florida, a wildlife officer, Bill Thompson, said that he was patrolling a remote section of the Everglades at dusk when he saw what he thought was a poacher. So he approached them, but he realized the figure was too tall and moved with a, quote, smooth and long striding gait, nearly impossible for the swamplands around that area. He wrote in his log that the creature was, quote, not a bear, not a man, but something in between. And he did note unusual tracks, but did not cast or photograph any of them. And this is something you'll find kind of common here in some of these cases. I've narrowed these down to the most genuine reported cases.
Yeah.
These are ones that have been recorded in wildlife reports. And lots of these reports go to a thing called the FWC, which is Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission.
I don't think that's what those letters stand for.
Fish, Wildlife, Conservation.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
The thing is that they can get these reports,
Yep.
but they don't have to release them. So lots of these are reports from different notes from different patrols from back then, or whatever's been given to them. If they get photos, they can take the photos, but they don't have to release them if they don't want to. And that's happened a lot, unfortunately, especially at this time period. But I do have descriptions of all of the evidence that we have, and I can show you those between those times.
Perfect. You'd think something like the skunk ape would be easy to track down with a dog,
Here's the thing.
like excessively easy.
Here's the thing: is it's hard because of how deep in the swamps these things live, and it's even harder to find tracks. Because skunk ape isn't like your regular Bigfoot where it stays terrestrial. These things are known to literally lurk in the swamps. They're known to swim. They're known to dive down deep. You're not going to find tracks that easy. And also, with all the smells and stuff in the swamp, you don't really want to find these things. However, dogs have reported to be agitated when these things are near, but that's common with other Bigfoot species all over the place. They sense things before we do.
I mean, your dogs get agitated when someone walks by.
My dogs are stupid. I love them, but they're stupid. So I'm going to fast forward to 1965. On March 12, 1965, Monroe County, Florida, in the Everglades National Park, Park Ranger Harold McCready was doing his usual patrol throughout the park when he spotted something massive walking along the tree line. His headlights caught a creature for several seconds. He described it as 7 to 8 feet tall, dark, and walking upright like a man. He also noted that there was a strong musky odor that lingered for a long time after the creature disappeared. He recorded 16-inch footprints with a 52-inch stride between them, with deep impressions consistent with something that's heavyweight, estimated between 300 to 500 pounds. His quote was, he had never seen an animal move like that. What are you thinking of all these early sightings? They're all pretty consistent. 8-man, big stride, smell, dark hair.
It's a very big stride.
Yeah, it is. 52 inches. That's like what? 4.5 feet?
Yeah. What's the average human stride?
I think it's about 2 feet, 2.5 feet.
The average stride length for a 6-foot man, according to AI, is 152 inches.
What?
The average stride length for a 6-foot man is approximately 152 inches.
No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. What man are they looking at? Elastic Man? Mr. Fantastic? Stretch Armstrong, maybe?
Okay, let me read for you this entire thing you gave me. The average stride length for a 6-foot man is approximately 152 inches, based on the average stride length of 62 inches for men. This means that a 6-foot man typically takes about 4 steps per foot, resulting in a stride length that is longer than the average for shorter individuals.
They thought you meant like a 6-footed person. That's what they thought. Your AI thought it meant a 6-foot person.
It's crazy start to finish. This means that a 6-foot man typically takes about 4 steps per foot, resulting in a stride length that is longer than average for shorter individuals. What the hell was that? What the hell kind of answer was that? I didn't even put 6. I put 6 FT.
What?
What the hell was that? Okay, I changed it to 6-foot tall man. Now it's saying 120 inches.
Look up,
which is 10 feet. The average stride length for a 6-foot tall man is approximately 10 feet.
That's not correct.
What is a stride length? Am I stupid?
1 sec.
What the fuck? It's about 2.5 feet. Long story short, but
2 to 2.5 feet. So this is maybe a third or almost double of what an average human stride would be. Unfortunately, the human stride is not 152 inches.
This is a good reminder for people to not just blindly trust AI.
No, don't.
A little bit of critical thinking goes a long way.
This is true.
Like, we could have just rolled with 152 inches and moved on.
Luckily, I have seen people walk, and I know how big an inch is. So I was able to fact check that with a little thing called my brain.
Yeah, thank goodness. My gosh. Imagine if you already got replaced by that for your job. That's gotta hurt.
To be fair, I've heard people say dumber who have better jobs. So
it's really a race to the bottom here.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, big stride length. About twice that of a man, which is crazy for something that's not that much taller.
Yes. And there was imprints in the ground that something consistently heavy. So it wasn't like a foot stamper. It was something that actually dragged in the ground. But James, in the 1970s, that is when things caught fire for skunk ape sightings. And this is when we actually started to coin the term skunk ape. In 1970, reports of skunk ape began to grow, and they began to grow in areas that were more populated. People were reporting a strange ape-like creature walking through their yards, going up to their windows. agitating their pets. But it got a really close encounter when deputies Marvin Lewis and Ernie Milner were apparently stalked by an ape-like creature in a grove of west of Lantana. After being followed, they turned around and saw a massive ape-like creature, which they promptly pulled their guns out and fired several rounds at the creature.
You're goddamn right.
The creature allegedly let out a grunt and fled into the swamps. The officers did find large footprints and hair snagged on a barbed wire fence that had been pushed down as it ran away. There was also several reports of different police officers hitting the skunk ape creature with their car, and tufts of hair would be found in the grill, and they did not really match any bear hairs. They were longer, and they looked more wiry.
Multiple cops hit that thing with their car?
I've found at least 2 reports of policemen hitting a skunk ape with their car.
All right.
In 1971, several people in Broward County reported a 7 to 8 foot tall ape-like creature walking up to their houses. This thing happened particularly in a trailer park. Apparently, a large ape-like creature and a smaller ape-like creature were going up to different trailers and looking inside the windows.
I think that was just the residents.
Shut your mouth. Here's the thing.
Damn, that hairy guy from next door is looking in the window again.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Skunk ape, I feel, is disregarded by a lot of the masses because it's in Florida. And as soon as you bring up skunk ape, there's always a comment, in Florida, that's just the Florida man. There's no one, it's just a guy. Or someone's on meth. That's what you hear a lot.
I mean, they do have a bit of a track record. You can't blame people.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
Florida does have a track record.
Yes.
I understand. Everyone reads the Florida Man articles.
And this isn't a dump on Florida. That's one of the places I would move if I went down to the States.
Here's the thing. People from Florida have the reputation of being a little nuts.
God bless them.
But that also might aid us in this case, James. Because after all these sightings, the Broward police force came out and said, everyone to remain calm. There's nothing to worry about. Just stay inside, and I'm sure it won't hurt you. The many people who lived in Broward County strongly disagreed.
About the staying inside part or about the it not hurting them part?
Both. And also they heard, what? There's a monster in our town? We're not going to let that happen. So what happens when a bunch of locals hear there's a monster approaching their homes, James?
They meet up and have a good discussion about what they should do about it.
And what do those discussions usually lead to?
Monster hunt!
Goddamn right, motherfucker! We got another monster hunt! Bang! Here's the thing. It's a monster hunt featuring a bunch of guys from a trailer park.
Woo! Airboats!
Goddamn right!
Wait, do they have airboats in trailer parks?
I'm not sure. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
There's guns then.
They got guns at least.
Hell yeah.
People started going into the woods with guns and into the swamps hunting the monster nightly. This was a massive monster hunt headed by people in the trailer park.
How many accidental deaths were there?
None reported. But we don't know. But here's the thing, is the cops tried to tell people to calm down and not do this, and they basically said, fuck you. And the cops basically said that's all we can really do.
Did the cops forget where they were? I guess they probably just have to say that, don't they?
Yeah, they had to come out and be like, everyone remain calm, let's not do this.
You know, they took off their fucking cop hat, put on their hunting hat, and went out there with them.
Probably. Here's the thing, is that the reaction was kind of similar to that. Because the cops said, hey, everybody calm down. There's no need to fret. Please don't go out there. People are going to get hurt. And all the people responded with basically, fuck you. And the cops said, well, that's kind of all we can do.
Yeah.
So people tried to hunt this monster. Unfortunately, nothing came of this. No footprints, no hair, no monster was shot. And this is around the same time I told you about the guy hitting it with a car, the beginning story. It's all around the same time. This is known as the Dade County craze, which spiked skunk ape sightings. Here's the thing. The surge of these sightings throughout the 1970s actually caused something to happen in 1977. There was a bill intended to make it illegal to kill or own, quote, anthropoid or humanoid animals which are native to Florida, popularly known as skunk ape. That is a quote in the bill. It was presented by Hugh Paul Knuckles. And he, real name, It was presented and actually brought and presented and discussed. Unfortunately, the bill was not passed.
See, now here's the question. Why was it not passed?
I don't know.
Why not pass something like that? What's the alternative? There is a skunk man and you can kill it?
That's kind of what it is now, technically. Because, I mean, like, the Ogopogo, it's illegal to take any discovered creature out of the Okanagan Lake nowadays. Same with Lake Champlain. There's the Lake Champlain monster. It's illegal to catch Champ, which is the Lake Champlain monster. Even in Loch Ness, it's illegal to take any creature from Loch Ness that is newly discovered. These are all bills that have been passed and are in law. But all of a sudden, when the monster becomes a terrestrial being, that's when the law's like, okay.
I mean, it is looking in people's windows. Maybe you do have to kill a couple of them.
Yeah, I guess so. It is dangerous. But here's the thing. Is Skunk Ape actually... People perceived it as dangerous?
Yeah.
There is really no real attacks against people. There was that one time it went after a car in 1942. But other than that, this thing just kind of tries to stay away from you. And it just looks in windows. That's kind of all it does. It doesn't really actually... to this day, there's no attacks reported from a skunk ape.
Not even on people's pets?
Okay, no, there has been some on people's pets, yes. There have been reports of a Florida man in the 1970s that said his bull and his pig were taken by the skunk ape.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if I'd believe that one per se, but...
That's just reported. So there are reports of it trying to kill animals or taking animals.
Took the bull and the pig.
Yeah.
I think
two separate occasions, I think.
Oh.
They're not like at the same time.
That'd be great, yeah.
No, not at the same time.
Also, a bull would be much heavier than the skunk ape, and I don't know if it could carry it away. Maybe it led it away.
Maybe.
Maybe it hypnotized them.
That's more the Northwest Bigfoot.
Right.
All right, James.
Yeah.
Now we are venturing to the 1990s, also known in skunk ape lore as the evidence era.
It was bound to happen sometime, right?
It was. In 1992, July, in Big Cypress National Preserve in Florida, a wildlife photographer named Mark Peterson was photographing wading birds when he heard a heavy splash in the nearby slough. When he turned and raised his camera, he saw a tall, dark figure moving between the cypress trees. He raised his camera and captured 3 frames of film of this creature. He said, quote, "It wasn't a bear. It walked too straight and too deliberate." Photos that investigators have seen show a dark, upright figure partially obstructed by vegetation. There were 14 to 16-inch impressions found along with the slough edge, which matched the footprints, but there were no casts made because it was too mucky and they couldn't get a good one. Now, this is one of the earliest photographic attempts for the creature. But there's a problem.
That's more than 4 toes.
No. We do not have access to these photos.
How about that?
They were shown, and they were shown to many investigators and wildlife personnel, but what happened was he never published the photos in any wildlife magazine. He never sent them into anything to get published. He kept them for himself. And unfortunately, Peterson died in 1997, and the negatives are most likely still with his family. And who knows if they're even still there. They might be thrown out. So the photos kind of died with him. But that's okay, James. Now, there's a lot of stories. You've heard Bigfoot stories before. They all kind of sound the same. But this is all minor stuff. I've got some major evidence for you. And some of the major evidence starts with our next encounter. October 1995. Everglades City, Florida. Fisherman Ron Decker was checking his crab traps at dusk when he heard a deep, guttural howl echo across the mangroves. Now, he described it not like a panther and not like a gator, but something else. He quickly grabbed a spotlight on his boat and turned it towards the bank. And that's when he saw it. He saw a creature, tall, reddish-brown hair. It looked at him for a moment, and then as he got closer, it turned and ran back into the mangroves. Now, he didn't know what he just saw. The next day, he went back to check the area. Figured daytime, you could see more, all that stuff. And as he was looking through the mangroves, he found something that's very useful at this time. Hair. Now, this is the first time we found hair, and we have DNA to test it.
Uh-oh.
Why uh-oh?
That normally backfires, doesn't it?
Normally it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
They tested this hair, James.
Inconclusive.
No. Unknown mammal. They did not know what this was. It was nothing in the system. Not inconclusive. What do you think of that? Join us next week as we dive into our most heated topic yet with Skunk Ape Part 2, the evidence era. We get into modern encounters with pictures, thermal imaging, videos, and yes, even DNA evidence. Do I have enough to prove this to James? Make sure you follow us on all of our social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for case photos and updates. And if you like what we're doing here, please give us a 5-star rating on Spotify, subscribe to us on YouTube, and give us a follow. It really helps us out and goes a long way. Also, share with your friends. Word of mouth is the best advertisement, and it's free. And if you have any case ideas, or if I've missed something, or if you have evidence from your own cases, you can email us at darkdosenpod@gmail.com. Words to the wise, if you encounter a smelly, hairy wild man in the Everglades, maybe back away. There's more than just Florida man to be worried about. See you on the next one, everybody. Thank you for listening.